Greetings and welcome to another episode of Sonic Odyssey, the music video channel dedicated to bringing you the last 5 decades or so of music in review and discussion format. Before we dive into today's musical discussion, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Please be sure to like the video if you so do enjoy the video. Share the video through social media channels by clicking on the little share tab button. And you can share through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and a number of other social media platforms. And also subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all things Sonic Odyssey. You can also give a look at my Patreon page. I have a Patreon account set up. So just click on the link below in the show description, and that'll take you right over to the Patreon account page, and you can take a look at what we have to offer there. That's the housekeeping. Now on to today's discussion. It's a discussion of both a style and a band, I have to say. Because I think it needs just, a little bit of a descriptor for probably a broader range of the audience that might not be familiar with it. The band we're going to look at is known as Versailles. It's a Japanese visual kei band. They are known in North America as Versailles Philharmonic Quintet. Because apparently there was a band in America already known as Versailles. So to avoid confusion with that band, they kept the Versailles part and added Philharmonic Quintet. They were formed in 2007, and we'll get more into the history of Versailles in just a second, but first about visual kei. Visual kei is a movement among Japanese musicians that is characterized by varying levels of makeup, elaborate costumes and hairstyles, and often a dose of androgyny mixed into the overall aesthetic appearance of the performers. It's about freedom of expression and not conforming to a particular expectation. A lot of people associate visual kei with not only the movement, but with specific forms of music. But the styles of music in visual kei are very far-reaching. It's not simply, power symphonic rock music. There's punk, there's pop, there's different types of visual kei artists out there. And it began in the 1980s in Japan with the band, most notably with the band X. X is a band that became known as X Japan after a North American band, I think it was an American punk band named X, was also kind of famous at the time in the 1980s. So to avoid confusion, X changed their name to X Japan. Basically, Versailles is part of the neo-visual kei movement, since they're a much younger band than X, and they formed only in 2007. They are known for their elaborate costume and makeup and hairstyles, often in a Rococo-esque style. It's a part of their presentation appearance, but it's more than just the visual element. The music is the driving force of Versailles. Versailles plays a style of music that you would call neoclassical or symphonic power metal, and they really perform it with stellar musicianship and have throughout their career. Theirs is not a story without a great deal of ups and downs. They had great success upon their formation. They formed in 2007, put out their first EP in 2007, which received acclaim not only in Japan but also in Europe, and one of their songs was included in a soundtrack. Their music was clearly already of a high quality and a high standard of performance and capability. Their debut EP was entitled Lyrical Sympathy, and it came out in 2007. And this was Versailles was basically the brainchild or creation of Kamijo, who is the lead singer of the band, and Hizaki, the rhythm and lead guitarist of the band. They brought on Jasmine Yu to play bass, Yuki on drums, and another guitarist by the name of Teru, who handles primarily rhythm, but also does some dueling leads with Hizaki. This two-guitar sound, dueling guitar, twin guitar sound, is pretty integral to the sound of Versailles. It's really a strong element, but not an overpowering element or an overwhelming element. It doesn't distract from the fantastic drumming or bass work that is also present in the band. The first LP was released in 2008 in Japan, and in 2009 in America. It was entitled Noble. And then tragedy struck. In mid-2009, bassist Jasmine Yu unfortunately passed away at the tender age of 30. Although dead, the band still considers him an eternal member of the band, and he's still listed as part of the band, although deceased. The band had been in the middle of recording their follow-up LP, which would be entitled Jubilee, and unfortunately Jasmine Yu had not been able to complete his bass recording parts, so Hizaki stepped in and finished the bass tracks on the album, and the album had quite a bit of success, both in Japan and Europe, and even reaching North America. Today we're looking at the band a little, just slightly different. The only difference is since Jasmine Yu passed away, they brought in a gentleman by the name of Masashi to play bass, and the band has remained the same since 2009. Today we're looking at their 2017 offering, which was an EP entitled Lineage. And it's an EP of 6 songs with a running time of about 28 minutes. Let's give a little bit of a listen to a song from Lineage entitled Marionette. Marionette. 誰もいない部屋で君がずっと
一人で遊んでいたのならばテーブルの上に残された小さな足跡は誰のものでしょう
Marionette is a very typical symphonic power metal song. The classical elements are prevalent throughout the overriding arc of the soundscape, and the thing I like about the beginning of this particular track is Masashi's bass line is really floating and frolicking over the top of the music quite nicely. It's the melody is strong and the bass is just dancing about. The lyrics are sung in Japanese. I think the majority of Versailles lyrics are in Japanese. The next sample I want to play is a bit, another small snippet from Lineage. It's from the song entitled Shadow's Fang. So let's give a brief listen to this.
ここにはいない
I chose this particular snippet because I felt that it showed a little bit more of the virtuosity of Hizaki on guitar, as well as the elements of the neoclassical symphonic power metal sound coming through a little bit more strongly. And still you have Kamijo's marvelous vocals in the mix. Hizaki is a really talented guitar player. He has tremendous chops. He certainly is capable of sweeps and arpeggios, but he tends to favor much more of a cleaner picking style, and it comes through with a crisp, clear sound, and he really does sound very distinct. He's not a Steve Vai or an Eddie Van Halen or a Joe Satriani or Frank Gambale or any of those guys. He's really got his own particular guitar presentation, and you can hear a Hizaki lead and know that it's his lead. The band has been kind of on hiatus since Lineage's release and their support of Lineage, but it's still an ongoing project. The band is still active, and Hizaki and Teru Masashi and Yuki are also part of a band in Japan by the name of Jupiter. They just have a different vocalist than Kamijo. And Hizaki has released a number of solo projects on his own, and they're really quite spectacular. Versailles has a really strong, bright, and universally appreciated sound. They are recognized in the West and the East as a very important part of the symphonic power metal movement. I'm excited to hear what they have coming out in the future. I can't wait for what they might come up with next. So I give Lineage easily 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's a marvelous recording, albeit a bit too brief. It would have been nice if we had more than just the 6 songs. It's kind of like a tease, but I do enjoy it a great deal, and I hope that you will give Lineage by Versailles a chance. And thank you for watching and tuning in. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And also please consider visiting my Patreon page. And there you can donate anything from a couple of dollars a month upwards. And you can even go so far as to have your name listed in the end credits of each video that I produce. And also select an album for me to review of your choice. So I look forward to reading your comments in the comment section below. And thank you very much for your time and attention. Until next time, peace. Have a great day.